to continue from there. So last week we did a lot of things, but majorly about resolution and light. So today we will go to the unboxing of the camera. Unboxing of the camera. I might not show a physical camera today because we have some time spent, but I will come to that as we progress. If you open the camera, you will have different parts of the camera. So I want someone to tell me which of the parts of the camera that you can see there on the screen. What item can you see there on the screen? On the screen. Maybe at some point, if some persons are not talking, I will be calling names. You know what I mean? So I want us to talk as much as possible. So if I don't hear your voice at all, maybe I'll call your name. So, but now it's open. Anybody? What can you see on the screen there?
Cables and USB sticks.
USB sticks, cool.
Batteries.
Yeah, batteries, excellent. Then we have something like
Memory cards.
memory cards, good. We have the cables. Also, we have a bag that you can put it inside. And then we also have the camera that you are seeing there separated into two parts. What can you call the front and the back? So who can guess? The camera has two parts that is visible there. The front part is what?
Maybe it's called camera head.
Yes, you are getting there. Generally, it's called, yeah, yes. Who again want to try? Lens, thank you. Yeah, the camera lens. Thank you. So, generally, the camera will have a lens, but some camera, they are all integrated into one unit as a single unit, right? So that's why some camera that is into a single unit. So today, I'm going to give you a snapshot of what you'll be doing as a kind of an assignment. So in that assignment, you will to have you watch a little video and you tell us what that video is all about. It will not be, as in, I'll give you the assignment, you do it at home, and then next week you are going to tell us what you experience. But I'll continue with the slides. Now we have three types of camera basically. One of them is called a still camera. Some of you may have seen it before. The still camera. And the second one is called the video camera. And the third one is called the SLR cameras. SLR cameras. They are all different. As you can also see pictorially, they look different. So also, even in the real sense, they're actually different. The way they appear differently, how we look at each of them also is different. Now, still camera, just take 2 minutes, read through the text there, and then give me one difference between each of them. So I just give you 2-3 minutes to go through what is written there. Then you unmute and tell me what you think is the difference between each of them. When we finish, maybe I'll show you some camera from my video, and you're going to tell me which camera you are seeing. So let's start. Just take 2 minutes. So I'll give you 2 minutes now, and then you're going to go through everything that is written there, and then you will tell me what you think is the main difference. So if anybody is ready with the answer, just unmute and then tell us. Anybody?
I can try.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I guess the main difference is based on what you're trying to achieve. So if you're going more for like pictures, then you would use the still cameras, and if you're going for more videos, then you use like a video camera or the HDSLR. And also, I guess depending on your budget and depending on like how much stuff you want to carry. So I think with the HDSLR cameras, you need more accessory. Like for example, it doesn't look like it comes with a built-in microphone, so you might have to bring like microphones along. Whereas like the video camera has like I think it tries to combine both a little bit, the camera and the still camera and the HDSL cameras.
Mhm.
So it's like the best camera if I guess for the price if you want to work with videos, maybe.
Okay, nice. Good. So these are good differences you've actually itemized. And then but for us, you look at things like the price, look at things like what you are trying to achieve, look at things like portability and so many other features. So it depends on what the features sometimes we look at. Now, I said I'm going to show you some camera, and then probably you will tell me which they are and or what camera they are. But before then, I'll put you a video to watch, and in that video, you would look at the different scenario there, and you tell me what the camera person was doing. Now, this is just a free, open way of discussion. So I'll just give a video. You tell us the background, tell us the scene, the kind of scene that was being performed, the kind of action that was performed, and information such like that. Is the camera standing still? Is the camera moving? Are the people moving or are they standing still? So anything at all, just think of anything we could actually pick out from the video. So I'll call it video clip. So let me schedule that, and then you watch. So also make me to know if you have a very good glimpse of what you picture in the videos. Okay, I start again. So it's going to be starting from beginning. So you tell us, for example, if you see someone who was the primary subject in this video, primary subject, maybe based on your answer, we'll know what you mean by the primary subjects. And then how was the camera positioned? Is it full screen, full view, or is just taking the person by maybe a quarter or a half? And then did the camera move at all? And if it moved, at what point did it move? And why did it move? Are we together? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right, okay. So we will start now. Maybe let me give you a little, let me see if I can send the audio from the clip online too, so that 1 minute. So that I can also listen to the background in case you have any information you want to give from the background. I think I want to give you an audio. I can give you, oh, sorry, audio sound will be line. Yeah, I think line should work. Video clip. So at some point, I will pause just to ask you if you could hear the background sound. All right. So tell me if you can hear. Can you hear? I think you can hear again, nothing. Okay. So the last time the clip will play, and once it gets to the beginning, so I'll just loop in the clip to play over and over again, just to be sure that you got what we're trying to bring out. All right, so open discussion now. Tell us, what did you gather from the video?
Can I say something?
Yes, please go ahead.
I think that the camera that was used is a still camera
Okay.
because of the quality from how the video looks wasn't that high. And if you would use a video camera or the HDL something camera, then the video quality would look a little bit better. And yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you've mentioned about looking at the video quality. You think the person was using a still camera. Okay. All right. So much more information we are looking at is things like what kind of who was the main subject there? Was the camera moving? Was the people moving, and why, and all that? So we've gotten one information from you. Yes, someone else? What can you see in the video generally? Anything you can picture from the video based on video management or video works? Anybody, feel free to go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
The video.
Yeah, go ahead.
the
Can you hear me?
video, the camera moved, and I think the main subject was the man that came at the end when the camera moved.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. So the main subject you think was the man at the end when the video moved. Why do you call the man at the end your main subject?
Because it spent most of the time of the video on the man and not like on the woman that is there at the start. So that's what I think about it.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, right. So you notice that the man moved, the camera moved only when the man was about going away from the camera, right? Now,
Yes.
that's one key thing I wanted us to identify today. So I'm still open for many more information. Yeah, Favor, I think your hand is up, or are you the one that just spoke now?
Yeah, I wanted to also say something.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I think the camera that was used for this was the video camera. Yeah.
Okay, it was a video camera. And so you're trying to say it is not a still camera, opposing the first information we got. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. We are going to see. So what was your reason? Why not a still camera?
My reason is because of the video camera is more used for videos and the still camera is more for pictures. And I would say the HD camera is more like when you like maybe want to shoot a music video,
Mm-hmm.
but this
Mm-hmm.
one did not really look like something like that. So I just think it's a video camera.
Okay, right. Great. So we've gotten a lot of information. All right. So this video will be an assignment. It's going to be very extensive. Let me just give you a little brief information. The assignment will contain things like what is the main subject? Do you have more than one subject that are main subjects? What is the object? What kind of environment is this? What kind of camera framing is this? And what kind of motion was happening there? What kind of camera motion was going on? Was the camera panning or tilting, or what kind of scene can we picture from here? I'll give you, don't worry about all this. I'm going to send a document to you that'll give you all this information. Do we have any kind of visual text on this video clip? These are the things we will be doing as an assignment, just to give you a little bit brief on the information about the assignment. Okay, now we talked about still camera. Still camera has fixed lens camera, and the lens is interchangeably or not interchangeably, and it's ideal for photos. So both of you are correct. You can still use still camera for this kind of shooting, but still camera, you will have some challenges in still camera. For example, you cannot be very flexible with still camera. It is a little bit restricted. Then we have video camera. Maybe I turn on my camera, and then I have two cameras here. So you tell me which of them is which. So I'll show you one after the other. Just forget about the frame. One of them has a frame. Let me bring out my video again. All right, I think I may have to add a new video. My video is not coming up here. So just give me 1 minute. Let me add a new video here. Yes, I think this is correct. All right. So I have one camera here, one video camera here. I think I might even change it directly. You can also see it a little bit better from my camera here. 1 minute, OBS. So I have one camera here. It's very small camera. Forget about everything here added to the camera. This is just the camera itself. And the camera has this lens. Can you see it?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can see.
All right. So this one camera with a lens. So if your camera does not have a lens, the camera will be blind. So one of our class will do a camera without a lens. And then you will see the camera, you will not see any image, but the camera is powered, it's on. So we need a lens to have the camera, to have the picture from the camera coming out. So we'll talk about that with time. So this is the lens for this camera. That's one camera. So I call that camera 1. You're going to tell me what camera it is among the 3 classes. I have this as camera 2, and camera 2 is also similar. You could see the camera 2 does not have lens that I can remove. So the lens is already built in, is fixed inside it. If I open the lens here, I can see the lens inside the camera. So this camera is already fixed with a lens, and I use it this way. I cannot remove the lens of this camera, unlike the other one that can remove the lens. So between these two cameras, this camera 2, what name can we call it? Now over to you.
I think the first camera is a mixture of the still camera and the HD SLR, because by the still camera it's able to remove the lens, and by the HDSLR camera, there are like many things surrounding the camera, like built-in stuff.
Okay. Yes. Any other person? Go ahead.
I think the first camera was the still camera,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the second one was the video camera.
Still camera. And the second one was what? The video camera. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Wisdom, your hand is still up. You want to say something again? All right. Now,
Yes.
yeah, go ahead.
I also wanted to say that the second camera was also video camera. It
Mm-hmm.
looked like from the both pictures here, like the second video camera.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so you are all correct. The first camera is actually an SLR camera, but you are correct because it looks also like the still camera. However, you may not just look at the camera in the face and completely know if it is still or SLR, except you are used to camera, right? So the still camera and SLR camera, sometimes they look similar. They have the same features. But what is important, I am happy you identified, is that the lens is always already removed from both the still camera and SLR camera. And then the two of you are correct also. This camera I'm holding now is actually a video camera. And it has everything. It does not have interchangeable lens. They are actually more expensive. They are more expensive this way. However, your SLR camera is higher in terms of price. But why they don't call them expensive is because the lens is different. So you can buy lens separately and buy the camera separately. So someone can buy a very good camera, a very good SLR camera, but uses a very bad lens. So it make the price drops. Unlike this one that everything is being integrated. And most times this is called, they are called professional cameras because they actually have everything built in to them. So in our church, we use any of them. It doesn't matter. It depends on the application. So one could say, why will I use one and leave the rest? So one person has mentioned already about kind of environment we want to use it. Someone has said, okay, yeah, some of them have some kind of integrated parts and all that. These are very nice reasons. So we'll come to this as we proceed. I will just go to the next slide and then I will tell you about camera handling and camera placing. Now, someone should tell me, with the picture you see there, why is that camera placed on top of a table? That camera could still be on the floor. Why is it placed on top of a table? Someone that have not spoken before. Someone that has not spoken before. I could see we have about 5 more persons connected. So if you've not said anything before, I want to hear your voice. Michael is there. Kayla is there. Yes. Mercy, I think I've also not heard Mercy's voice. Have I heard Mercy speak?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. All right. Michael, Kayla, are you there? Are you online? Let's hear from you.
Yes.
Okay, so Michael first. Why is this camera placed? Ah, okay, you're not seeing the table very well. Sorry. Let me remove this one. Right. So why is the camera placed on top of a table or a stool, which is about 4 inches high, instead of the floor? Normally in most of the place we go to, we just keep camera on the floor. So why is this one placed on top here? Joel is raising up and okay, after Michael, maybe we'll hear from Joel.
Maybe so that they can see the face of the person better.
Okay, to see the face of the person better, that's okay. That's a good one. Yes. Joel, let's hear from you.
Because the camera has to be in the level of the eye, so the people can see the head and the eyes too, and what he's doing.
Good. Now, This we'll do in our practice where you will position camera correctly. So when you want to keep the stand of the camera, you must make sure that when you position the camera is directly, the lens of the camera is directly the same level. You can see that blue line, the same level with the face of your subject. Now you know what is a subject. Am I right now? Chorus answer. Everybody knows what's a subject?
Yeah.
Right, good,
So
Yeah.
good,
Yes.
good. Now, if you are positioning a camera and you must know who is your subject. Sometimes some persons will put a camera and then we are seeing the lights, we are seeing the roof, but the subject is very small somewhere. We are lost. So who is the subject in this camera? So you must position your camera such that you are actually capturing your subject. That is very important. That's the lesson for today. Your subject must be very clear. Now, you position your camera such that it is the same level with your subject. And therefore, your tripod stand, you know a tripod stand? Yes, no, yes, no. Tripod stand? If you don't know a tripod stand, please use the button on the link. Then let me show you the tripod stand. So your tripod stand must be the same level with when you put your tripod stand and then you put your camera, it must be the same level with the eye contact of the person that you are actually taking as your subject. That's one key thing you have to learn here. That is where we talk about camera placement. And for you, who is the camera person or the cameraman or the operator, you must also be able to see the lens of the camera, or sorry, the LCD, that is the screen on the camera. So you can see if your subject is placed properly. With this one now, you've correctly mounted your camera. So that is how to mount your camera correctly. The second thing you must know that you must always give a little headroom. I'll come to that later. But let the place be very stable, not the place that if somebody walk and pass, the camera will be shaking. No. The platform or where you're mounting the camera should be very stable. The stand should be on a stable position. So that by the time you're moving the camera, you can move it very neatly, nicely, and slowly. Any question before we go to the next slide? No question. Now, this is how to hold a camera. This is how to hold a camera. Some persons just come, carry the camera from under and then put hand on the base. It can fall off. So you must hold the camera in such a way that the camera have a firm grip on the camera. And this is for professional cameras. Even the other cameras, the same pattern of holding. Most of them must be held properly. You mustn't put a camera every time on the stand. You can use your hand to hold the camera and move around. This is very okay. However, you must be very stable, otherwise the camera will be shaking and the video will be very poor, which is not what we desire. Right? All right. Now, camera tripod stand already. I've told about tripod stand. You can see this tripod stand has a roller. Tripod stand there is selected now. It has a roller, and on that tripod stand, that is where the camera is mounted. Now, this roller on the tripod stand is very important in cameras that you want them to move. But camera that you want them to stay in one place, you don't need a roller. You can use only the tripod stand on such camera. Right. Another important subject. Frame. Frame. This one is going to be also in the assignment. And in the assignment, it is called shot. What kind of frame shot of the camera it is. So, look at this picture of the person, and then I'll ask you question on what kind of frame should you use at different scenarios. I'll give you different scenarios, and I'll ask you what kind of frame should you use. So I'll give you just 2 minutes to go through the various frames and then master them. Please, the first 4 frames that is there, master them, and then I would ask you what kind of frame should we use. Each of them should have a different kind of frame. Each of the one I'm going to give to you should have a different kind. If each of the example I'll give to you should have a different kind of frame. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So, number one, a pastor lifts his hand up and he's showing somebody something on his hand, inside his hand. He's showing somebody, maybe he's holding a kind of a biro, and he's showing someone a biro in his hand. What kind of frame should you use?
The fifth.
Remember he's holding a biro and the biro is small. So we want to see the biro. So what kind of frame should you use?
I would say waist up, medium.
Waist up, medium. Okay, that is a suggestion. One. Yes. Any other person?
I would also use waist up medium.
Waist up, medium. Okay.
I would use elbow up tight medium.
Sorry?
Elbow up tight medium.
Okay, you use elbow up tight. Okay. All
And
right.
please, I will use elbow ups.
You will use elbow up too. Okay. All right. Now, for both of you, you are correct. It all depends if the people are able to see the pen is using or the biro is holding very clearly. If it is very visible for the audience, then you could use anyone. But if the biro is very small, then I think elbow up might be very good because you want to move it very tight. However, elbow up is also very, anyway, we'll come to that. The next one, the pastor is walking from one place to the other and is touching a chair that is on the podium. He's moving from one place to the other and he's touching the chair there. What shot should you use? He's walking across the stage and then he's touching a chair there. What kind of shot should you use?
I would say the first one, the head to toe shot.
Head to toe shot, okay.
I would also use head to toe shots.
Head to toe shot, okay. Any other objection? All right, this time around, the pastor is preaching and tears started dropping from his eyes all of a sudden. What shot will you use?
I'd say if you really want them to see the tears in the pastor's eyes, but it's
Yeah,
maybe not so fine, then you can use elbows up. But
elbow
yeah.
up, okay. All right, now
maybe like it's not so fine to like show when someone is
it's
crying.
crying.
So you
Yeah,
can
of
also
course.
use the waist up.
We will come back to another topic again. Yeah, so for you, you want to take expression. I mean, it's an expression. So a cameraman, you are not I'll put it now. You are not emotional person as a camera person. Video person, you're not emotional person. Yes, the scenario is emotional, but you are taking the scene. So you're interested in the scene more than the emotions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in that case, for me, I think sorry about that. Yeah. So in that case, for me, yeah, the scene, if person is crying, I will take his own close shot. It's called a close shot. Now, look at the picture I gave there. The elbow up shot is even different from the close shot. There's another one we call the close up shot. The close up shot is like from the neck up, and I'm seeing his face very well, like from the chest. Yeah, from the chest up. So you have the close-up shots. The elbow up shot is a kind of a loose close-up shot. So for me, I'll even go for a close shot because I want to see that expression. Now, it may not be a crying expression. It might also be a kind of the way he's demonstrating something, and then his face is very serious. He's very serious about what he's saying. Then I will use a close-up shot. Or if he's smiling, I'll also use a close-up shot. You understand? Because I want to bring out that expression. Does that make sense? Now, I used the pastor. Now, I'm going to throw the thing to everybody. I'll throw it to everybody. Tell me, the audience now, what kind of shot should we use for the audience? What kind of shots, what can the audience be doing? Maybe somebody or persons or many people, what can they be doing for me to use either an head-to-toe shot or a full shot or a knee-up shot or a waist-up shot or an elbow shot? What can they be doing?
Maybe standing,
Standing, doing what? If they're standing, doing what,
clapping
for
their
example?
hands,
Okay, so what
clapping
shot
their
should I
hands or
use? What
something.
shot should I use?
I would say the knee up or the full.
The knee up.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Anybody objecting that? He says the knee up.
It depends what they're doing. I would say
Okay.
if you like want to show the whole crowd, you can like use full screen.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe like if someone like is a newcomer and you want to show the person more, then you can also like make a closer shot, like maybe like waist up.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So at what instance can I use a close-up shot? You know what a close-up shot now? I'm just taking the person's face in the audience. And at what instance can I use a knee-up shot for people that are sitting separately? What can they be doing that may make me to use a close-up shot? And what can they be doing that will make me to use a knee-up shot?
I would say like for the close-up shot, maybe someone is really, really paying attention. Maybe the pastor said something and the expression kind of changes. Then you can
Hmm.
use the close-up shot. The knee up, maybe someone is worshiping or raising the hands.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe you could use a knee up
Right.
shot, yeah.
Right. Nice. Nice. I love those examples. So these are key examples now. So the idea of our class is for you to know when to use different kind of shots for today. So I have made different practice about the different frames up. So you know what is a knee up shot. You know what is a close shot. You know what is a medium shot. You know what is an head to toe, or that head to toe is also called a wide shot. So let me just put it also there. It can also be called wide shot. So you can use a wide shot for it to toe. That is, you want to see the persons fully, you can see. Then for elbow up shot, so you need to know when to use some shots. It's not every time that you just keep a camera static and then leave it, even if you are seeing everybody. Sometimes you change the frame based on what is happening. Any question? No question. Okay. Right. Now, head room. Head room. Now, someone tell me what is an head room based on the picture or based on what you read there. What is an head room?
The headroom is like the space between the subject's head and like where the camera kind of ends from up.
Thank you. So, my headroom in my video, is that right or wrong? You are seeing my video, right?
Yes.
You are seeing my camera, okay? Yeah, so my headroom, is that right or wrong? If it is right, why? If it is wrong, why? Maybe somebody else, apart from the person that just spoke now. Nobody? Okay,
Maybe I can try. I'm not sure,
right.
but I
Yeah,
would say it's wrong because
okay.
you're like 50% of the screen or of the camera, but it's supposed to be two-thirds. So you would need to, I guess, either come closer a bit
Mm-hmm.
to reduce the space of your headroom.
All right. So, you are the camera person, and this is where I'm sitting. I'm not going to move close to the camera, right? So the camera will either use the camera to bring me closer into the picture, and then also avoid me. Now, remember, there are other distractions. So assuming I am the subject and there's someone by my side that is maybe making noise or talking. So one key thing about the camera person, you should be able to separate two of them and don't bring two of them together, right? So you should be able to know your subject very well and isolate your subject. So this headroom is wrong. Your headroom should not be more than 2 centimeters from each other. So you can see that man's headroom in the picture you have. You can see how small it is. That is the maximum headroom you can have. So for me, I expected to come as close as this. This is ideal headroom. You can see my camera here now. This ideal headroom is still a little bit exactly. So it should just be a very little space between my head. If I want, even if when I'm zooming out, even if I want to go backwards, as I'm going backwards, I should maintain that headroom. I'm going backwards, right? But my headroom is still maintained. Is that clear?
Yes.
Right. So your headroom is a must. So whenever you want to put the top of your camera, you must use the headroom of your subject to position your camera. Always. Now, the second thing is the look room. The looking room. The looking room is a space between your subject and your frame. Now, if I am your subject and then I am here and your camera is there, the looking room is wrong because I am actually looking at the camera, but behind me has more space than my looking room. And nobody cares to see my back. They care to see where my eye contact is. So my looking room should be close to the subject so somebody can easily picture what I am saying, not behind me. So your looking room is actually very important. And make sure that the eyes of person that you are holding, you are actually videoing, is in contact with the lens of the camera. That's why you must keep your camera vertically aligned with the person's face, person's eye. So the person's, like I'm sitting down, for example, like this. Now look at my camera. You can see that my camera is not facing me, right? This literally is wrong, except for one case, except probably you have different camera and you want to do what we call a side shot. So this is called a side shot. But if you're using only one camera, you cannot be giving somebody a side shot because my face is not being seen. So if you have multiple camera, you can give a side shot, you can give a front shot and all that, a top shot. So we have side shot, front shot, top shot, and all that. But if you are using one camera and you are the main cameraman, you must give what? A face shot, meaning that your camera should be directly in front of the person and you're seeing the person's face. There are certain cases whereby you cannot keep the camera directly in front of the person. Maybe be obstructing the people sitting down there, or probably there's another pulpit there or something there. Like probably the choir is singing. You cannot keep the camera where the choir conductor will stand. So in that case, you can move a little bit by the sides, but still make sure you are still in front of your subjects. Any question? No question. Okay. Now, we come to the parts of the camera. This is one professional camera which we spoke about. Maybe we will use this in our training much more. By the left here, you have the batteries. By the right, rather, you have the batteries. And the batteries there is fixed to the camera. It's fixed to the camera. So you can remove it and replace it. It's always most times behind at the rear of the camera. You have slots to put in your memory card. From under, you can see SD slots. Then you have buttons to change different things on the camera. And then towards the front of the camera where the lens is, you have ring. In most cases, there are 3 rings there. And 3 of them does 3 different things. We'll talk about this in subsequent class. Then on top of the camera, you have where you can do your lens, zoom in and zoom out. You also have the panel where you can see the video. So these are the key parts of the camera we have. This particular picture gives maybe more details on what I've mentioned already, but maybe more details. So we'll not look into that. We will talk about audio in a separate class. But before I talk about audio, look at this picture. You could see Zoom Leveler. So it's all called Zoom, which will enter in the next week, where you can zoom in and zoom out your camera. You can turn on your camera and turn off your camera. So please, every time you pick a camera, always look for the on button. It always has indication for on and off. It's always by one side of the camera or the other. Very important. The camera always have things like maybe HDMI output, which you can use for cabling, and then where to power the camera if you want to use direct power and all that. Finally, camera control. The camera has a different controls. We have manual and we have automatic. So you can look at this camera image you see here. You could see that in one part you see manual and automatic, and you can decide to put the camera on manual or in automatic mode. That's where you have manual, automatic. So you can just say, oh, let this camera be on manual mode or be on automatic mode. Then in that case, you are trying to bring out some nice features from the camera. So it all depends on what you want to achieve. But in most cases, people will use manual mode because they want to have full control of the camera. They want to do everything in the camera. So they want to do manual. But if you use auto, the camera internal system will be changing some things by itself. Maybe the place become too bright. It's going to reduce it and make it a little bit darker, and so on and so forth. So I'll stop here. And then I know you've been waiting for me for a long time, and I didn't want this class to take too long again, except you want me to continue. I've taken an additional 30 minutes because of the time we spent. So I think we still have everyone connected. So if you want us to continue maybe a little bit more, let me know. Otherwise, we can stop here and then I give you some break and we'll continue next week. What's your viewpoint? We stop here? Yes, yes. No, no, continue. Which of them?
We can continue.
That's one. I only want, maybe I get 3 continue before I continue. If I get 1 stop, then we'll stop. Yes, next person, continue, stop.
Continue.
Okay,
Continue.
2. Okay, so we have 3
Please, will
continue.
you get the homework?
Yes, I'm going to give you something to do. Like I mentioned already, that video is going to be part of what will form your homework. So I'll give you that as we proceed. At the end, I'm going to send that to the group. You're already in the group, so you can easily have access to the homework. All right, so we'll continue briefly, and then we'll just pick up probably another 15 minutes with the camera controls. Camera controls. So I will give you 1 minute to look at each of these things written there. There are 8 of them, and you will get used to them because I'll be mentioning them from time to time. So whether you're going to master it or you're going to put it in your head or any you're going to do it, it's up to you. But what I want you to know is that I'm going to give you sorry. So what I want you to know is that I want you to know these 8 things on your brain because you'll be using them over and over again. Over and over again. But so they must stick to you. So if I talk about white balance, you know you've already known about. In fact, at some point I'll change the slide and then somebody will name at least 4 of them for me. Another person will name another 4 or something like that. So your time starts now. I give you 2 minutes. Let me add additional minute for you. So go through each of those camera controls and then let's see.
Is it able to make the photo bigger?
I agree.
Yeah, is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
So 1 more minute.
Please, I can't see the camera part.
I think they are the same thing with what is already one of those names, but let me reduce it again. It's very tiny, but it is iris, zoom, and focus. So it's already there in the among the list you have. Iris, zoom, and focus. Right. So let's go now. Yeah. So over to you. First person, feel free unmute and then just mention some part of camera you could give. Yes. So who is helping us first? Nobody? Should I call names?
I think Favor was raising her hands.
Please go ahead. Just unmute. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, as from the ones that we needed to memorize.
Yes. Just give us
Okay,
4.
white balance,
Right balance. Good.
ISO, or
Yeah.
film
Yes.
speed. Then there was also
Mhm.
iris, and then there was
Iris. Good.
shutter speed.
Shutter
Shutter
speed.
speed.
Right. Okay. Any other person? Another one. Another 4 again, or you just can just randomly. Any other person? One more person? Randomly.
And please, I think the zoomer is there, like it looks like it's a thing you can turn, but it's a little bit more smaller than the biggest one.
Sorry, I did not get that. You mean the
Please,
picture I'm showing you currently?
or I meant the other one.
Okay. Right. Okay. So let's
Is there,
move. Yeah. So we'll start with the first one. We call it white balance. White balance. Now, from the word white and balance, it means you have to balance it with something white. White balance. Now, For every camera, the camera is blind. It doesn't know what is white. So you need to tell the camera what is what? White. If you tell the camera what is white, then your white environment will be looking like brown or looking like red or looking like yellow. This is what we mean by white balancing. So you have to give the camera the true picture of white. Is that clear?
Yeah.
And if you don't give the camera the true picture of white, the camera will be giving you a wrong video. A wrong video because it did not know what is white. And this white balancing changed because of different factors. One, maybe your light. Maybe some rooms, the light is, in the normal bulbs you normally buy. Some of the bulbs, they are white. Some of the bulbs looks like yellowish. They are called warm and all that. So you need to know what is white. So for you, a cameraman, your eyes need to be very, very sensitive. You need to be able to identify what is white. Otherwise, your videos will not be good. So you must learn how to get the right white color. Now, if you look at this picture, for example, when we say white balancing, we mean that you're adjusting the color to the white color in the lighting. If you don't adjust it properly, look at this bottom picture. You'll be surprised that some video will look bluish. You can see the middle, the next one after auto, the next one is 3000K is bluish in color. If you go to 5500, it looks brown. It looks a little bit like kind of a pale color, looking like probably you are in the like a kind of black and white kind of image. And then when you go too high to 6500, it looks reddish. Looks reddish. The same camera, but different white background or white balancing settings. So for you, you must always get the right white balancing setting. Now, in some camera, which we will do with time, if you look at this camera, for example, this image is from a camera, there is what we call presets. Preset, PRST, is that you can change the number of what we call the temperature of color temperature. So color temperature, you can see by your right, look at this, they call lighting temperature guide. We can start from 2000 and go up to 8000. So the more the color temperature is higher, the more bluish the color becomes. The more it is lower, the more yellowish it becomes. I repeat myself. The more higher temperature you give to it, up to 8000 K, the more bluish it becomes. The more your color looks very bluish. But when your color is getting too low at 2000, the more yellowish it becomes. But for you, you want not blue, you don't want yellow, you want white. So in that case, you must use the right temperature whenever you're setting your camera for a good white balancing. So I want one person, in your own words, tell me what is white balancing and how can you change and what can you do to white balance a camera, assuming the camera was looking too blue. What do you do? If you're looking too red or too yellow, what do you do? So one person will tell me what is white balancing, another person will tell me if my camera was looking too blue, what will I do to the color temperature? If the camera was too yellow, what will I do to the color temperature? Yes, feel free on mute and then tell me. Nobody?
Okay, I can go.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
white balancing is basically adjusting the camera settings so you determine what the true color of white is. And I don't know, should I answer the second question?
Yeah, go ahead.
And so if it's too blue, you want to lower your temperature, and if it's too yellow, you want to increase your temperature.
Good, good. All right, so simple, very simple to white balance. Now there is what we call auto white balance, that the camera can automatically white balance itself. The only problem is when you are moving the camera a little bit, you see the camera picture will be changing on its own because you are on auto. But the beauty of if you go on manual and you can white balance it very well, you will like the picture. So most times we don't like using auto, we like doing our own white balancing because you know the environment, you can see the environment, can also give it the best temperature. That would be very nice. Now, I'll give another question now. Maybe this time around, Wisdom will answer or Joel will answer. One of you, either Wisdom or Joel, you answer. I went to a church very early in the morning, and the place was a little bit still very not very bright. The dew was still there a little bit, and then all of a sudden, at about 10 a.m., the sun became very bright, and everywhere in the church was now very, very bright. What should I do to my camera? Remember, initially it was looking a little bit bluish, so I had reduced my temperature a little bit because of the environment was looking too bluish, because of the place was still a little bit very early in the morning. All of a sudden, heavy sun started shining. What should I do to my camera?
I
Yes.
think if you can,
Go ahead, Wisdom.
You should balance it.
Okay, by doing what? Increasing or reducing the temperature?
If temperature is high, then you should reduce it.
Now you're using the word if again. So I've given you the assignment, so you should tell me one of them. I gave again, I said my temperature was too cold in the morning, very cold in the morning, and all of a sudden the hot sun came out, and then everywhere becomes very bright and yellowish. So what do I do? Joel, you wanted to say something?
Make it a bit more bluish if it's
Mm-hmm.
at the
If,
start very like
yeah,
warm.
right. If I want to make it a little more bluish, what do I do with the temperature?
Um, then you increase.
I increase the temperature. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you very much. Now, so you know temperature already now. You know what you call white balancing, and you know temperature moves from 2000 or thereabout up till about 8000. But in most cases, we always stay between 3000 and 6000 in most cases, because our environment we always want you to stay between 3000 and 6000, because when you go, it's on extreme case, you can go more than 6000, and it's an extreme case, you can go below 3000. So these are a little bit of range, but there's no fixed answer. It's all about your environment. Where did you go to? How is the lighting conditions there? If all the windows are closed, expect the place to have, you need to white balance. If the windows are open, you need to white balance. If there's enough light in the room, you need to white balance. So every condition you find, you must white balance your camera. Very important. That's number one. Any question from white balancing before we go to the next one? No question. All right. The next one is called ISO. ISO. ISO for cameras are how bright the camera comes. I don't have a picture here, but let me see if I can pull out a picture about ISO. So suddenly, I give that example again. In the morning, the temperature was very cold, and then I used a particular ISO. One minute. Let's look for one image I can use to bring up ISO. Okay, so let me take this. I think this is still okay. I can take this picture. So I use the same example I was talking about before, that early in the morning, I had the weather was very, very cold. Then at about 10 a.m., the place became very bright. The same thing that happens to white balancing, place will become oversaturated with light. So when the light becomes too much, my ISO have to be changed. So if you are outside, maybe you are inside a room, you will have a different ISO setting. If you go outside, you have a different ISO setting. So it all depends on where you are. So if the place is too bright, you have to reduce your ISO. If it is too dark, you have to increase your ISO. Very important. So ISO is actually what allows your camera brightness to be stable, and it actually opens the sensor to more light or to less light. That is your ISO. It's similar to what we call the iris, which is number 3. The iris now is a little bit different, but this iris now is about how can I open the camera to allow light to enter into it. So all of them is about lighting. If the environment is too bright or too dark, you can open your iris a bit. You can use your iris a bit. We are going to practicalize all this in one of those in other classes. You could open your iris a little bit, or you could actually increase something, or you could change something. So it depends on what is the lighting conditions in the environment you find yourself. Let me bring up another picture again. I saw one interesting picture for ISO would be this. Yes, I think that's correct. You can see different ISO settings and what they gave to you. I'm not sure if you can see that very clearly. Same thing with this other ISO, for example, another ISO setting. So ISO is kind of an exposure, how you exposed to light. So the lower your ISO, the more the place looks a bit darker, and the higher your ISO, the more the place looks a bit brighter. But you cannot use the camera to correct. I think this is what we mentioned in the last class. When you watch the video, you will know. You cannot use your camera to correct errors. So if your environment is already dark, don't try to use the camera to brighten it too much. Otherwise, you will be reducing your video quality. So the camera is not there to compensate for light. So you must get your light. The camera is only there to aid the production and make the production better than how it is currently. That's what the camera is meant for. So iris is similar to your ISO. Your iris does similar. It actually opens the camera to allow light to come in. You can go an iris very low or very high. This we'll talk about as we proceed. Now, let me give a picture about an iris. If you go to the door outside and the place is very sunny, you can see your camera video will look like this. It is overexposed. So what is expected for you is to work on your iris so that too much light is not entering the camera, and your camera will actually give you the good picture of what you want. So this is actually a good iris setting compared to this particular image. So your footage is very important for iris. Any question?
By the camera,
Yeah.
is it able, as when it's very dark, and what if your camera cannot like lighten it up?
Like I said, you don't even need to use your camera to lighten it up. You need to buy a light for the environment and make the place bright enough. So the camera can lighten it up, but it is going to be destroying the quality of the camera. I will show you an example in subsequent class where I will turn off the light of the building, of the room, and then I will use my camera to brighten the place, and then you will see how bad the quality will look like compared to if there was light. So number one, you're not using the camera to correct errors. But if you go to a place and the place the light is very bad there or poor, you could actually use these settings in the camera to improve on it. But it is not to correct the problem already. It's just to improve on what you found there. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
All right. So the next one will be the shutter speed. We'll wrap up in 10 minutes. Shutter speed is now very important again because of movement. If you go very low, let's assume somebody is a shutter speed of 160 that's 160 out of a second. It means that you want the person to move slowly. If the person moves faster, you will be seeing the person's hand, for example, like this, you will not see the person's hand. The person's hand will be like a kind of a shadow. It will be like a kind of a shadow. The person is moving very fast. So if you increase your shutter speed, you can have the person move very fast and you can still see the person clearly. But it makes the quality of your video, it makes your video darker. So again, all this combination of camera settings is based on what you want to do. So assuming I want to video people that are running, should I increase my shutter speed to let's say 1,000 to 1 by 2,000, or should I reduce it to 1 by 60? That's a question now. Some people that are running, they are doing let's say 100 meters race. Which shutter speed should I use? 1 by 2,000 or 1 by 60 based on what is here?
I think 1 by 2,000.
1 by 2,000 because of what they are moving very fast. However, 1 by 2,000 will make your camera to look very dark. Your camera will look like this, very dark. So you now have to now balance it up. So you can reduce it. So maybe you can try 1 by 250 or 1 by 500 and so on and so forth until people can still be running and they are not looking like slow motion or they are not looking like shadows and waves, but you can see them very well, but you are not making your camera very dark. So it's all about how much blur you want to be. But some persons like blurring. That if people are running, you will see it in a blur motion. So in that case, you can reduce your shutter speed. Ideally, I used to recommend a shutter speed of 1 by 100. So I recommend 1 by 100 as a shutter speed. But in my church currently today, I used 1 by 80 because the environment is not bright enough. So if I use 1 by 100, that means the place will become more dark. I will now need to be looking for a way to increase my ISO or increase my iris or open my iris more and all that. So I reduce my shutter speed to 1 by 80. And that's because I believe that the pastor will not be working very fast. So, but if the pastor is working very fast and maybe people are moving very fast up and down, then you will see the video will be a little bit blur by 180. So 1 by 100 is good. 1 by 120 is also very good. Very good. Ideally, 1 by 120 is, for me, is very nice to use 1 by 120 because you could get everything you want with 1 by 120. All right, that is shutter speed. And you can see this picture now. You can see the first one, shutter speed was too low. The picture become very blur. But because of a good shutter speed, picture becomes better. So this is better. Shutter speed is not that very high. And therefore, you could see that the picture there is very, very clear compared to the one on top, which is a little bit blurred because shutter speed was too low. 5, which is the one we are going to stop today, is called the gain. Gain. Just like the word implies, gain. Gain is like, how can I increase or boost my camera when I don't have good lights? Now, for people that you don't have light in the place, you want to improve on the quality, so you want to improve on the brightness of the camera, you use your gain. However, the more you increase your gain, the more you have noise, what we call noise in video. Last class, we spoke about video noise. When you watch there, you will know what I mean by video noise. So, I will also recommend someone not going. Of course, you can have up to 15 decibel. You can have 15 decibels. Some people can even have 18, for example. Then you can even have up to 30, decibels. So there are different decibels of gains you can have. But I recommend not going beyond 15 decibels. This is my recommendation. But depending on your environment, if you can manage it very well. If you don't manage your gain well, look at how your video will look like. You can see this video now. The video of a tower, but it's looking like very distorted because the gain was too much. And that's what you call a grainy kind of clip. And that is the video noise we spoke about. So increasing your gain too much because you want to correct the lighting problem will be spoiling your video and you'll be having a very high gain on your video. So I said I'm going to stop there. Then the next class, we will continue with the remaining 3. So we have done 5, we're going to remain 3, and then we will maybe take a camera and then we'll practicalize, we'll practice 1 or 2 of these kind of features we mean. So by next month, which is November, we will be having one outdoor meeting where we are going to meet together and we'll have cameras there and we are going to practice all this. So start thinking about it, maybe start discussing among yourselves which of the weekends is preferably. I think we have free slot next weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Or I think some persons are also on a break. I'm not sure. So we can do something this week if you want, or we can also make it next month, maybe one of the weekends next month, depending on what works. So so in the group, please, one person can put a poll there if you want, or just write a chat there about video management. When can we meet physically to do some practice? All right, so I will stop again. Any last question before we call it a day? Right, one question for Mercy. Mercy, should I increase my gain too much? If I increase it too much, what problem do I face?
If you increase the gain too much, then the
Yeah,
video looks very grainy and you increase the video noise.
I increase the video noise. Okay, I introduce a noise to the video if I increase my gain. All right. Okay, so that's all for today. A little bit about the assignment again. I will still share it later, but a little bit about it again is about the video we watched. I play the video again, and then I will tell you what you're going to be doing there. I think you've watched that enough. So I will share some comments on what I'll be expecting. And then by then we will now know what next. Just 1 minute. Let me bring that up. Yeah, can you see my screen that I'm sharing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I was not seeing it. So let me bring that screen I'm sharing also to the meeting. I have a challenge here. All right. So for us, you've watched that video, and the idea of the video is for you to answer some questions. So I'll start from the beginning. I'm going to send you some of this information. So you are going to look at what we call the non-temporal caption, the scene overview, meaning what is going on there, the main subject, we've mentioned that already, the primary objects, the kind of environment it is, and the style. Then we'll now go to the next stage, which will now be for temporal captions. What kind of frame? We've done framing today. We've talked about close-up frame. We've talked about full shots. We've talked about shoulder up. We've talked about head to and all that. What kind of motion was happening there? We didn't talk about motion so much now, but we have motion of camera is spanning to right to left. The camera was going from up to down. The camera was on top. The camera was normal level and all that. That's motion. Was the camera moving or the camera was still or the camera was in motion? This is the next thing is the scene. The scene is what kind of thing was happening there? Who were we actually interacting with? Does that make sense? Okay. So let me give you an example now.
Question.
Yes, go ahead. Question.
What is meant by the style?
Right. I'll give an example here. I'm hearing some sound. I think that's from Wisdom. Wisdom, can you mute? Okay. Right. So let me give an example here. The golden example. Now, it is a particular video that was watched, and I said that the scene here is like a man is in a small fishing boat, reels in a rope. So the scene is what's going on there. Like for you, the scene there is what's happening there. Someone can say it's maybe somebody's pushing a truck or whatever. That's a scene. So the scene is what kind of activity was happening there, right? That's a scene. So this is a scene overview. Then the subject for this particular video was that a man is standing in a shelter and then having a small fishing boat visible from the mid-calf upwards and all that and all that. He's describing what the man is wearing, what the man is doing. He's even went to the point to say that his face, I think this is a little bit not very big enough. Can you see the screen? Should I make it bigger? Is it okay now? Is it okay? Should I make it bigger?
It's okay.
It's okay. All right. Okay. So the scene, like I was explaining before, The scene could be, okay, what the man is doing and how he's going about what he's doing. Be your that could be the scene. So it varies. Now, sorry, the subject rather. Now the object can be maybe another small kind of device. Like for example, the object now is another fishing boat. It's not really the man himself, but we are still seeing the fishing boat as a device. But the fishing boat is close to the man, where the man is fishing, right? Someone can say another object could be the fishing rope that the man is using, or the fishing nets, but the person is the subject. Then the environment also matters. Maybe it's a dusty environment, or it's a calm environment, a rural environment, or a city environment, and all that. Then the kind of video is it a very photorealistic video? Is it a blur video? Is it a kind of a sunset or a sunrise, and all that? So these are the kind of different information you'll be using. Camera framing, we've talked about this: eye level, close-up shot, open shot, wide frame. Camera motion, camera is static, or the camera is shaky, or the camera is spanning, moving from left to right, or tilting up and down to the camera motion. Then the scene motion. Now, this is another important one. What's the scene motion? The scene motion is by time. From, let's say, from 0 to 0:05, the man was rolling the bike from one location to another location. And then from 0:05 to 0:10, the camera was following the man. From 0:15 to 0:20, the woman dropped the bag on the floor and all that. So that's the scene motion which you can describe. Visual text is if anything was written on the screen. Nothing was written, then there's no visual steps. So let me give you a summary of that. These more examples. Right, a summary of this would be for scene overview. Maybe this will give you more insights. 1 or 2 sentences that explain the video, summarize the main content and the actions that were taken. That's a scene overview. Then let me give another description again for, for main subjects. We've talked about this already. Is the primary focus of the person. It can be people, it can be animal, but that's the primary focus. It should not be more than 2 or 3 main subjects, of course. Not every video will have a main subject. Maybe the video just moving everywhere, it may not have a main subject. That's up to you to decide. And for people that main subject, look at their gender or their height and all that. So let's come to objects. For object is always inanimate object, inanimate devices. That's device that does not have any human kind of form, does not breathe in. It can be a cell phone, it can be a fishing net, like we saw in the other example, and all that. That could be your object. So that's very pretty clear. It can be a television screen, a basketball, anything could be your object in that form. The environment. The environment here could be different kind of environment. Can be a dark environment. It can be a water flow. It can be a cloud movement. General environment. The background also of the environment. It can be noisy environment. It can be kind of a rural environment. It can be a motor park. It can be an aerospace environment, the airport, or whatever. Can describe maybe geographical location of the environment. If you have the name of maybe a countryside, these are environments, right? Now the next one would be for style. For style, this is the one maybe you may pay attention. We have artistic styles, like for example, there's a 2D animation, there is a mixed media kind of, there is a realistic kind of photorealistic kind of style of the movie. Then sometimes it can be things with lightings. Okay, it's very bright, it's a natural light, it's a warm light, or it's a daylight environment. You can talk about the tone of the video and maybe the vibe. Oh, the place is very joyful, everybody's mourning, everybody's crying, or it's creepy. These are different styles. And then I think the last one would be for the scene. I've talked about the scene. The scene has minutes and seconds, minutes and seconds. So you can describe the scene, you can describe the main subject and the main objects. For example, you can use things like S1 man. I'll give you an example in the assignment document. And then, of course, I talk about camera framing, camera shots, the angle. Is it a wide shot, a medium shot? Is it a low angle? Is it a big angle? Is it a front view or a back view or a side view? These are different camera framing. It's a very big assignment, which if you do this assignment, at the end of the day, you actually understand camera management very, very well. So they give you an example of what a wide shot look like here. Wide shot. And then what a full shot looks. A full shot, I'm taking the person fully. Medium shot, I'm taking the person from a particular medium space, not fully. Close-up shot, I'm taking maybe one particular part of the person, maybe it's only face or the eyes or whatever. Extremely close-up shot, maybe only the ear or maybe the eyeballs. Camera angle. Camera angle. You can see the camera angle, eye level shot, high, the camera is on top and then it's looking at the person from top. Low, the camera is down and looking at the person from above. So these are eye level shots, high angle shots, low angle shots, and all that. So don't worry, this video will be there for you so you can play the video again later on and watch in case you miss anything I said. Back view is very clear. You know what back view means. Front view is very clear from the front of the person. Side view is very clear from the side. Three-quarter view from a particular angle. You can see the three-quarter view, what it means there, and so on. Then for camera motion, this is what we did not handle today. There are different kinds of camera motion. The camera can be static in one place. The camera can be panning. Panning means I'm moving from left to right or from right to left. That is called panning. Tilting is another important one. The camera can be tilting up or tilting down. Zoom in and zoom out. The camera can be zooming into someone or zooming out from the person. The tracking or following, the camera is just on one person and following the person as the person is moving to one place or the other, following. Static and all that. These are different camera motion. So you can describe this motion based on the time frame. Scene motion, we've mentioned about the scene already, what is happening there. Are people eating or people are drinking or people are just maybe the market square or whatever. So I stopped there. Visual text is maybe something like a text is written somewhere. If nothing is written, then we don't have any visual text. I stopped there. Any general last question? We've exceeded our time by so far today. That's because I wanted to explain what the different scenes means. Yeah. Any other last comment, last question before we close up today?
Good question. Do we get
Yeah.
those documents or
No, you will not get a document, but you will get
okay.
you get the questions and then you get an example. For example, the one I shared before, I will give you two examples at least to guide you. So for example, at the beginning, we have an example of a golden question that someone gave you all the answers to the particular video.
Mm.
And then you can use that as an example for yourself. We'll be doing
Okay.
this almost every 2 weekly, that you will still do the assignment again, but a different video. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, because we need to do this over and over again. So I think we have finished that. Any other question? No other questions. So we exceeded our time for today. Sorry about that. We started late. Hopefully by next week we would start at the right time. Hopefully I don't have traffic that time next week. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So in absence of no question, I would like Favor to pray for us as we close up.
In Jesus' name,
Amen.
Lord, we really thank you for what we have learned today. I pray that you're going to help us to internalize it and to memorize this. And I pray that as we really learn this, this is going to be helpful to us and the church in Jesus' name. I pray that the work of God is going to move smoothly. And Lord, I pray that you're going to bless all the people who taught us, as well our brother who taught us. Lord, I pray that your hand of God is going to be upon him and that you're also going to give him more wisdom in Jesus' name. Thank you again for all what we have learned today. In Jesus' name we've prayed.
Amen. All right. Thank you very much. It was a long class today. I believe you learned a lot. So we'll see next week. I'll make the video available for you for this week and last week, and also I'll put in the assignments also, and then I'll share the link for all of them.
Thank you.
All right. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.